Alright, howdy ho neighborinos. 2024 M1000R. I've now spent 1 month with this motorcycle. It's not a loaner bike, it's not a rental. I bought this with cold hard American pesos, and so I definitely want to talk about what I see as the pros and the cons and everything in between. And I wanted to start this off kind of with the cons, issues that I've seen people in reviews have with the bike, just various things here and there that I've seen reported. The first is the steering dampener and wobble at high speed. I haven't experienced that. I've gotten this thing up there and it doesn't do it. And so I'm wondering if that's a 2023 thing, if that's a suspension setup thing, or why people are having those issues with this bike, because in the manual, BMW says to set the steering dampener 4 clicks out from max for road use and full on for track. And personally, I have it set 3 clicks out, and it's been perfect. No issues. So now that we're past the mail truck, we can keep going here. Get back on this side. So that's the first. Haven't experienced that. I'd be interested, if you own an M1000, if you could chime in and say if you have that issue, and if you do, what year, and what you've done to remedy it, or if you have been able to remedy it. The next is the mirrors. That's accurate. They suck. They're vibey as all heck at any speed where you would actually want mirrors. So what I've done is I went to a company called HJR, and I just recently installed their handlebar mirrors, and I didn't position them right, so they're kind of facing down, and they're kind of useless right now. But I can tell looking at them they aren't quite as vibey. I'm not sure if they're usable, but my fingers crossed that they are. The factory BMW mirrors, you can tell they just went for aesthetic. I think these are just such vibey bikes that, short of the way they do it on the S1000R, there's just really no, I guess, good way to do it. So that is what it is. It's a little surprising on what's really such a refined motorcycle to have an issue like that. But that is what it is, and I'm on the quest to remedy it, and we'll see if I have. To the lake here, go down this road. I've never been down this way. I've been close, but I haven't bothered to go all the way down. And assuming we can find a good place to stop, I'll go ahead and get off and show the boat, or show the, I'm looking at a boat, show the motorcycle. Another thing that I see talked about a lot is the tune, and that's absolutely accurate as well, thanks to Greta Thunberg and emissions. There's just holes in it, the stock tune. I'm sure if you've been researching these bikes at all, you'll see there's big holes in second and third gear, right in the mid-range, where you would actually want power. Before, 8, 9, 10,000 RPM, it just comes on like a banshee. And so I just recently, yesterday in fact, installed the BT Moto Stage 1 tune, and I am happy to report there that it's solved. The power is linear, which is exactly what I was going for. I wasn't necessarily after more power with this bike. It's got a ton. Yeah, there's a deer. Yeah, get out of here, Bambi. And so the drivability of this bike is just so much more improved. The manners are better. It just feels better, which is kind of a shame that you spend, $27,000, $28,000 on a motorcycle, and in my opinion, you need the tune. I mean, again, it's not a power thing. It's a power delivery thing and having access to that power. So I was a little nervous. I've never tuned a bike before, especially something expensive like this. But it all went smoothly. I was actually really impressed with BT Moto. I've seen people, they say they had issues with communication and this and that, but man, they were back to me with every question within 24 hours before and after purchase, and they actually sent me the tune on a Sunday. So I don't really know what more I could ask, truthfully. The turnaround time from the moment I sent my tune in to when I received it, I think was about 2 days. I sent it in on a Friday. Yeah, got it on Sunday. So I can't complain, man. Let's go over this way. First off, I've done the Evotech bar weights. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a really vibey bike, to the point that after about an hour, my right hand was going numb. I fixed it. I've added the Ilmberger carbon belly pan, which looks really good. I did Akra titanium headers. I got the Ilmberger carbon windscreen. I'm planning on replacing this with Ilmberger. They're carbon. It's kind of, I guess, the water cooler guard, they call it. Thinking about some frame covers, and I'm thinking about doing the back seat here. Getting decals. Crispy Designs, by the way. If you have one of these bikes, they make the OEM color and style for all those mods. Trying to think what else I've done. Put some bar risers on there. I'm 6'3", so I put the high seat, which leaned me over even more. So kind of tried to correct that right there. Let's see, Evotech, not frame guards, axle guards. That's about it so far. So pros of this bike, this just feels like such a refined motorcycle. Like, you can tell this isn't the first generation of anything. Coming from the S1000 and single R, and has some double R touches like the engine. It's just so good, guys, with the carbon wheels, the weight. I mean, I think it's a 440-pound motorcycle. Feels less than that. It just goes wherever you want it to go. No issues. It doesn't say, hey, why are we doing that? It says, let's do more of that, right? Power, especially now that it's fixed with that tune, excellent. It's enough power that you kind of ask, how is this legal? And by the way, it should be legal. I think any sort of bans on this stuff is just get out of here. But it is that good, it just feels like you slapped a plate on a race car, and I guess in some ways you did, race bike. But, that's no one's business but mine. If I want to go fast, I'm going to go fast, right? And at that point, if you want to do it, you're going to do it one way or another. And it's really cool to be able to buy just this purpose-built, just piss missile, man. And I see a lot of comparisons. People wonder, should I get the double R? Should I get the single R? And it's like, are you doing anything other than riding around town, riding back roads? with some highway. And if the answer to that is yes, then maybe the double R is the better choice. But I found just general use and just using this bike as a toy and going out, coming here to the lake, and there's another lake north of here I like going around, driving back roads, the hills. It's hard to beat, man. So another question would be, like, would I buy this bike again? Like, am I satisfied? Do I feel like it's too expensive? Do I feel like it's just not a good bike? And I think the answer to that second part is pretty obvious, that it's a good bike. It's a great bike. Is it worth $28,000? That's kind of on you, man. If the carbon isn't that big a deal to you, the standard M1000, the white one, to me is a lot better bang for your buck. When you compare it to the S1000R with the M package, the M1000 is only like $700 or $800 more, I think. And so it's made that S1000R M package pretty redundant almost to me, and it's almost a waste, you know, because you spend that extra money, you get the better, the higher horsepower engine. I think the quick shifter's better. You get better wheels. They look better. You know, I might be just kind of a goober, but I actually like the wings, not because I think they're really doing that much, but I just think it's kind of cool. Got wings on my motorcycle. So as just, you know, back to, am I happy with the purchase? Heck yeah, I am. I haven't found anything with this bike that I can fault to the point that I can't remedy it. And then you're getting into, should you have to remedy it? And of course the answer is no. The tune stuff, I think that's just the world we live in, unfortunately. You know, so I'm not really gonna be neither here nor there with that, especially because BMW did kind of try to remedy it with their torque map. You lose some top end, but it's all about where the bike gets tested for noise. The headers, best upgrade I've made. When you take that cat off, I mean, you're losing what looks like a ball sack out from under the motorcycle. You're dropping 10 pounds or so, and it doesn't sound like a vacuum cleaner anymore. It sounds like a ripper, and it is, you know. Man, it just sounds so good. That quick shifter, man, it's so smooth. Just, oh, you want to change gear? Okay. Okay. You know. You want to downshift? Cool. The only issue I've actually had with the quick shifter, and I actually asked BMW about this when I took it in for its service. When it's in real low RPMs, if you know, I'm talking 3,000-4,000. If you're in a high gear or higher gear, say third or fourth, sometimes when you try to downshift, the quick shifter doesn't do it. And that just kind of is what it is, I guess. If it really starts doing that, we might have a problem. it doesn't do it often, and it really just seems if I'm lugging the bike that it'll do that, and then I just grab the clutch, downshift. So I don't think in any real scenario where you're using the bike, right, like whether it's on the track or like back roads, unless you're just creeping along, that's the only time I've had that happen. Otherwise, the thing is perfection. You just can't beat it, man. The BMW TFT, I stand by it, best in the business, man. It just looks like it's painted on there. You can't see pixels. I love the sport layout, and they give you so many different layouts, and there's so many options on this thing. And I've seen people kind of knock BMW, saying there's just there's so much info. Like you click the menu when you're scrolling through stuff, and it's like this, and yeah, I agree. There's too much, but you can select and deselect it all, right? Like if you're gonna give me a motorcycle, give me everything. Just give me the option to put what I want and what I don't want. Not only, like, it's mine at that point, right? Like, I have what I want and nothing that I don't. It's the same with, like, rider aids and all that sort of stuff. Like, give me it all, man. Like, just let me be able to turn it off. And if something with that fails, make it to where it doesn't brick the bike. That's all it takes. That's all I need. Like, technology's super cool. It's just sometimes it doesn't work right. And when it doesn't work right, don't let it ruin everything else. But I haven't had any issues with this. The wheelie control's great. You almost need that. Traction control, I think I have it on 1, 0. I've seen guys, they run it, -7. I don't see the need. This thing is so fast. Like, I can't convey that enough, how fast this motorcycle is. And, there's guys out there that are probably sitting there saying, oh, it's not that fast. And it's like, dude, you're just desensitized at this point, man. Like, this thing is fast. Is it the fastest motorcycle in the world? No. Is it up there? Can it hang? Yeah. And, for someone like me, I quit riding for the past 10 years and just recently got back into it with a 1250 GSA. And then I got this bike. And I'd never owned a leader bike. And when I say that, I mean crotch rocket, sports bike, naked bike, whatever. I'd had an 1150 RS prior to that. I'd ridden some sport bikes, but, never at length. And then I got the 1250 GSA, so I guess technically I've had something higher than a liter, but not this high performance, 14,000 RPM, just monster, 14,500. And, I'm not accustomed to it, so even during the break-in period, when it's limited to 9,000, I thought this thing was fast. And then you get it unlocked, and it's like, good, like it bends time and space. And so if you're one of those guys that is kind of, they're like, oh, I could do that. And yeah, you could do it. That's the whole point. Like, especially with the rider aids. And that's what's so cool is somebody, you can work your way up on this bike. You can kind of turn it down for yourself. And then as you get more comfortable, like just turn it up, let it grow with you. And that's really cool. And I'm just now kind of getting to the point where I'll open it up all the way because, and if you rev it out in second gear, you're going 100 plus, which for the street, it's a lot. And I wouldn't recommend doing it everywhere, but, and then the question becomes, if you aren't going 100 plus, is there a point to this bike? And I say, yeah. I really enjoy driving this thing around. It doesn't act like it's pissed off if you're going 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. It's not upset. What it is doing is it's kind of like the dog that's, just wanting to go outside, go for a walk, like it's super excited. It's like, come on, man, let's go. We can go outside. We can. I'm ready. Let's do it. And so just at every moment you can tell it's just like this bike's like, let's do it, man. Let's go. Drop a gear. Disappear. And that's cool. It's not that it's upset about going slow. It'll do it. You know, same as the dog will wait by the door, but it wants to go fast. See, here we are, 37 miles an hour, third gear, only going to fourth. Just going along here. Bike's not jerking, going whoop, 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 whoop. You know, it's not overheating. Speaking of overheating, that VT tune, man, and the bike wasn't overheating before, but it dropped by about 10 degrees across the board. I think part of that is the fan map. The fans come on a little earlier, but you know, that's a pretty cool side effect to me, at least. That tells me the bike's just running better, right? Who doesn't like a better running bike? I really wish I'd checked these mirrors before I left. I tried to like pitch them up because they were too low, and it just ran out of adjustment immediately, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get the hex bit, loosen this thing up, which means I'm just looking over my shoulder now. Doing it the old school way, which I was kind of doing anyway because the BMW mirrors are such shit. What are you doing, buddy? Going left, but you're coming right. So let's talk about fuel mileage. Maybe you can see I've got 78 miles to empty. If you're expecting to get 40, 50 miles per gallon out of this motorcycle, forget about it. It's almost kind of a joke. I would say it's between 18 and 22 miles per gallon. It's pretty bad. My truck gets 18 to 22 miles to the gallon. Now in return, do you get an absolute monster? Sure do. But you're only going to get about 120 miles out of each tank. To hit that crack in the road. It's bumped up there, and that's kind of my only way through. But now they're on the highway. Let's put it in 6th gear, a little above 70. Just cruising along. If you're wondering, Oklahoma roads are absolute dog shit. So that's what I have to say about the M1000R. Now that I've had it for 1 month. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you own one? Do you want one? And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I appreciate you watching. Peace.